the expectations haven't met reality, but Arch Manning is improving despite the pressure that's constantly in his face.
Arch has the tools. Sark has the answers to the test. Now it's all about these young football players starting to get that experience and confidence that they need. All right, well, we're in the playbook with Matt Simms, and we're going to go deep into this breakdown. We went all the way back to last year to check out some of the things that Arch Manning and the Texas offense was doing when Quinn Ewers was the quarterback, and how they're trying to transition to this young quarterback and him in the starting lineup. And what I noticed from last year, right? Hey, those 4 guys on the offensive line that went to the NFL, well, they're missing them, right? Because Arch Manning took a lot of hits against Florida, sacked 6 times in that football game, probably had about close to 20 quarterback hits in the game. And now let's fast forward to Oklahoma, 1 sack in the football game, Sam. Big, huge difference in that one, and that just shows you the growth of the young man.
And despite all of the expectations, there still was an unknown coming into this season for Texas, losing those, I think it was 11 players that were drafted, many of them, like you said, on that offensive line. But when you look at how Coach Sarkisian has schemed up for his quarterbacks, whether it be Quinn Ewers or whether it be Arch Manning, what are some of the differences and similarities that you have seen?
Well, I think the biggest thing is really just the lack of experience, right? Quinn Ewers himself, an experienced quarterback that has kind of gone through it all, right? Leaving Ohio State, they go into Texas, rebuilding his career. The experienced offensive line, like I said, 4 guys moved on to the NFL. And then also to the impact that the running back room had on this football team a year ago. Quintrayvon Iser was part of that committee, along with Jaden Blue, making these explosive plays in the passing attack. We haven't seen that quite come to fruition yet for this offense. And here's a great example. Last year, Quinn Ewers, we're going to run a football play here. We're going to fake this little inside zone and then throw the running back screen over here into the boundary. And you can just see right here how they have it set it up. It's an easy touchdown for him to basically just outrun the Florida defense all the way there to the end zone. And you can see here in this end zone clip, right, just the misdirection. Florida's eyes are everywhere. They don't know where the football is going. The setup is absolutely perfect. And when you catch the football, I mean, look at this, Sam. I think you're going to be able to run for a touchdown in this look, right? Look how clean that was. So perfect play call, the execution by the offensive line, getting big bodies in space against a team that's overplaying. That's what we saw from Texas a year ago. Fast forward now, what we saw against Florida. All right, same play design, same concept, all right? Little bit of a different picture here, right? Florida does a better job of playing through the play, adjusting, redirecting quickly. And this is what I love, though, too, right? I mean, hey, now look at this. All right, we got 6 or 7 people now by this ball carrier, right, bringing them down to the ground. So the deception wasn't quite there. The execution by the offensive line, the running back, not as explosive as what we saw from a year ago.
How much of that, too, is Florida? This is a team that got crushed by this Texas team without a DJ Lagway last year.
No doubt.
How much of it is on them making the adjustments and maybe Coach Sark relying on the plays that got them there last year?
Yeah, it's exactly right? Florida improved, learning from what they missed out on last year. And then, of course, Sark, you know, what is he going to do? It worked last year. Of course, I'm going to try it again. But you could just see how it wasn't helping their young quarterback, right? Quinn Ewers feeling pretty confident after that screen pass, I bet, right?
Yeah.
Well, in this case, hey, Arch, like, gain of 7, right? And I've been getting hit a lot already. So it's just another play that I got to kind of fight through. Here's a few examples, too, of just the RPO game and how even a simple concept, right, you're thinking, I'm going to give Arch a really simple look here. It's either hand the football off for, say, a good look for us running-wise, or just throw the easy pass right behind the defense that's trying to stop the run. And even these plays right now, you could just see that there's a lack of rhythm, right? This is a play, it's an automatic give for Arch. He pulls the football, he's trying to get the football out quick, but you can see Florida's doing a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes, right? Doing a good job of clogging up the middle on the run while also playing through that RPO pass. And this is a dangerous throw, right? This is not what you want to see from your young quarterback on the road. And it almost pays off as an interception for Florida, right? You can see as well, too, just from his indecision, he throws it quickly and suddenly because he knows that he kind of messed up. He tries to make up for it by being quick, and it almost backfires on him. Similar concept here again, right? You want to think, hey, RPO, right? Hand the football off if we got something that works for us offensively in our offensive line. He pulls the football. Quick reaction here inside. The ball should be going out here to the tight end, right? Outflanking the defense. But again, the defender is able to eat up that space between the line of scrimmage and the quarterback really quickly, makes that sudden throw again. And I don't know how he snuck this one in there, but he avoided another interception. So another example, too, of how young quarterback just kind of predetermining and not just seeing the ball through. Here's another look at it, too, to kind of show you exactly how difficult this is, right, for this quarterback to get a rhythm. Hey, hand the football off. I don't know. Looks like the Florida defensive line was whooping that tail right there on that play. So that's another example of just how hard it is right now for this Texas offense.
The playmakers, skill position players.
Yeah.
It helps when you have a Matthew Golden on the outside to kind of mitigate some of the issues that maybe Texas did have last year. It seems like everything is just tougher for Texas this year. Now, Arch looked a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. I know he got some credit for the Florida game, but he's been under duress a ton. The playmakers, and we talked about even in the Ohio State game, it just feels like this team is, I don't know, a little bit slower than they were last year at the skill position.
I think it's a fact, right? They're just not as explosive, right? From the running back room, from the receiver room. I think Quintravian Riser, probably his best performance of the year against Oklahoma. Just the way that he looked on the field, how aggressive he was running between the tackles, and good for Steve Sarkisian too, relying on that running attack, even though it wasn't just ripping off big play after big play. Being patient and playing the style that they need to. Biggest thing I think for Arch here in this matchup against Oklahoma and the improvement, there was a lot of plays where he was under duress and he got rid of the football. Here's a great play design, right, where they open up the field, they spread it out, and they're making Oklahoma declare, what are you going to do? You going to play coverage or are you going to get after our quarterback? That gives him an easy, what am I going to do quickly at the line of scrimmage? And this play concept, right, real simple. They're basically just going to run like a little sit route and a post behind it. And then for whatever reason, Oklahoma, just bad communication on their end, they let the DeAndre Moore get behind them in a critical situation in the low red zone area. So bad eye discipline, bad communication, and good job by Arch just making them pay. That's an easy one. Got to have it. And that's what he did on that one for sure.
And it's not like Oklahoma didn't get in the backfield. They had 12 tackles for loss, but they had 1 sack, which to your point, Maddie, would tell me that he got rid of the ball fairly quickly.
No
something
doubt.
that he's been working on, no doubt, over the last couple of weeks, right?
Especially after what were they saying? Hey, man, you can't take those sacks anymore. Get rid of the football. First of all, save yourself the hit. Throw the football away. We don't give a damn about your stats. We give a damn about field position and making sure that you feel okay in critical moments. But this is a great example of, one, the talent that he has. Here he is. He sets up, full sprint to the right. He's got a guy hanging on his leg. And look how aggressive he gets through this follow-through, right, to Parker Livingston on the sideline. Now, when we watch it from this clip, this is what life has been like for Arch, right, in the pocket. This is what we saw all game long against Florida. At the snap, he hasn't even hit the back foot of his drop yet. But here we are, already lost. Center has already got beat at the line of scrimmage. The pocket has already collapsed, and he's got a guy bearing down on him before he's really had an opportunity to hitch. Now, this is where it just shows you, hey, great movement, way to get out of the pocket suddenly, keep your eyes down the field. If Livingston wasn't open, throw the football away. But look at the accuracy, the power to the sideline. Critical moment to get you out of that backed up situation. And it really just starts with the offensive line. The offensive line was playing subpar. They did a little bit better, gave themselves an opportunity. Arch helped them out as well.
From you, who's coached a lot of quarterbacks, you coach high school into college. What is the next step for a player like Arch Manning in his progression as he does mature in this offense?
I think the biggest thing I would say is hey, don't worry about the stat sheet. Don't worry about what people like me are saying about you, right? It's all about just get us in the win column, right? And by him getting rid of the football today, right, him relying on that stuff, not taking as many risky throws, right? Steve Sarkisian doing a great job, too, of not just throwing it down the field every single time. Late in that football game against Florida, I feel like every throw was like a 20-yard just big-time throw down the field. That wasn't the style in which they needed to win that football game or how they could win it. So I think they did a great job of just assessing what wasn't going well, managing it from there, and then just building confidence slowly and winning the Red Rivalry shootout, right?
That helps.
Well, they don't call it that anymore. But hey, winning that matchup, that's a big boost for your team.
As Arch continues to get better, this Texas team gets better as well. You see him in the commercials. Again, they paid him a lot of money to be here, but they didn't pay him for the stats. They paid him to win football games.
That's right.
And that's the bottom line there. All right, that was the Playbook, Maddie. Excellent work as always.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Hook 'em. Let's go.